I love Jacinda Ardern for one reason, is that every time she opens her mouth, and it's without exception, no, it's not to change feet, although that would have been quite a good analogy once, but every time she opens her mouth, it is to view the world through a prism of almost self-regret and self-regard. She did an interview, presumably, again, she's only talking to certain media, of course, media that she can trust to give her a sympathetic hearing, both international and national. But the really interesting thing is that she said that the most difficult part of her book, now wait for this, the most difficult part of her book to write. Now, what would you think if you were the Prime Minister during that time, the most difficult part of the book to write? I know what the most difficult part of the book to write would be, suddenly saying to a group of people in this country, yeah, sorry, we're going to make you second-class citizens, something that she actually did say publicly in defence of the policy. But you're going to lose your job, you're going to lose your income, you're going to be publicly cauterised and criticised. If you even think of outstanding for public office, we're going to sick the mainstream media on you. And, you know, you're basically going to lose, not just, unless you do as I tell you, you are going to suffer. All right? Now, I would have thought that coming to that decision would have been the most difficult and significant thing in her life, and that would still cause her to say, question mark, did I do the right thing? You know, or it might have been to do with, how do we prime the economy, and uh-oh, we've gone too far. You know, that sort of stuff. Those are the big decisions. No. Apparently, according to the Prime Minister, the hardest part of writing the book was not justifying decisions that she'd made, or justifying necessarily removing jobs, entitlements, income and respect and citizenship, ironically, using that word this morning, from vast sectors of society in New Zealand, and discriminating against New Zealanders on a routine and official basis. No. The hardest part for the Prime Minister was leaving the Mormon faith. She wrote a couple of paragraphs, apparently, sent it back, and the editors of the book said, no, we need more on that. She said, I really found that difficult to do. And there was this sort of hand-wringing lament of how difficult it was for her to write about leaving the Mormon faith when she was something like 20 or 21 years of age. You know, given everything that happened after 2021, and you look back on your life and you have one difficulty in terms of writing a book, it's to do with why I'm not a Mormon. Good God. And I say that in a complete, can I say, a theological context that this morning. Good God. All I'm just going to say is, every time the Prime Minister opens, or the former Prime Minister, opens her mouth, it is to show that she doesn't understand the word kindness or compassion, or despite going on about it, because you've got to have a certain human and self-insight to be able to appreciate those concepts. And there ain't no insight happening in that cranium anytime soon. And even as of this week, there is no indication. Mind you, I suppose in the rarefied air of Harvard in the United States of America, where you don't have to deal with New Zealanders or the consequences of your actions, it must be touching to go, I wasn't a Mormon anymore. I was raised a Mormon, but I wasn't a Mormon anymore. Oh, that was very, very difficult to write. Oh, I sweated buckets over that. You poor dear.